Hey, how's it going? I'm doing well. Went out for breakfast. Did a whole bunch of laser engraving this morning. Made a couple bricks. Can't really complain too much. So, Vicky's at the shop. She did some computer stuff. She's going to go grocery shopping. Typically, we grocery shop together, but I wanted to get some stuff done today, so. Yep. Yep, the wholesale orders are just airing out. They'll be ready for packaging on Monday. And everybody paid, so it's kind of a win-win. So we're going to get some 8-inch shafts done today. And some 7 as well. So this one is, you can see it's not very straight. We'll see if we can save it or not. Yep, all the staining and sanding is done. They're actually sitting so these are all the ones that we've been working on. So. We might be able to get an 8-inch out of this one. It's not so bad. We'll see. No, that's pre-ordered. There's a few more that are... I also made a bunch for us as well, and those are in the other room. And there's a whole bunch of Turkish ones as well that go with those. But I'm hoping that, yeah, we'll go 6-inch. Be nice to be focused on some of the inventory for the shows. And we got Kindred Spirits going in the background today. Nice. You know, I learned valuable lessons from this show. When in doubt, get a hold of Chip Coffee. So if you're just joining us, we're turning hard maple. He's a strange one. He is. In a good way. Yeah, this maple just turns wonderfully. How do I not get splinters continuously? Well, you know, these are already machined, so they're already smooth. You know, when I'm machining other woods, you know, I'm more likely to get splinters than this isn't. It's not a splinter factory. Babies are looking good. I actually drove here this morning. It's a weekend. It's my I'm gonna walk home, so I'll still get my half-mile walk in today. But yeah, I drove by them. They look good. They're hanging out by the road this morning. I think they like the power to stop traffic more than anything else. And we had a bunny in our yard this morning. Trying to show the cats that there's a rabbit right there, which is just impossible. Cats do not understand the concept of pointing. It's light vibration up here, so we're going to make it into a 7. Yeah, somebody ordered a custom Turkish spindle. That's a supported spindle. I'm going to be making that tomorrow. So if you guys are tuning in, my name is Scott. I like to make stuff. I'm a full-time spindle maker, fiber tool maker. So this is basically my day job. So it's going to be one of the spindles that go into a bowl. So it's going to be a Turkish like this, but smaller. And instead of having a finial on top, it'll be longer and then go to a point. So you set it in a bowl and then you spin it in the bowl. So it's not something I make a lot of. I actually made her a couple of those, like, I don't know, 8 months ago. She lost one, so she wants a replacement. So a bunch of conversations back and forth, and had to take a couple of pictures of all the woods I had in stock. But we got there. Have I made anything else using the resin wood? I have not. I made, all those shafts. And I made a couple supported as well. I did machine it down to be the right size to make the Turkish spindles out of. So if they start selling, I'll make more. I'm going to cut a section off to make with the whorls out of it, so the spinny bits. Give me a second here. Let me grab a supported. So this is the bowl. You set this in the bowl and you spin it. So this is the whorl. So I have these made. I've got like half a dozen of these made. So I need to make the whorls. This one was a test one. This one's mine. So it wasn't about perfection. It was about trying a different finish on it. So, no. It's like anything else. So I do plan on making a bunch of supports and having them done probably by Thursday. And then when we do our weekly update, they'll be in the update as a new item. Yeah, we can do another pen stream. See how many kits I have left. This is what it looks like before it's turned. So it's birch that's dyed and then laminated and impregnated with resin. So once you just buff it, you sand it and then you buff it, and it's just like glass. So very smooth, very shiny. So I have some more colors being made right now. You watched another pen maker's video using acrylic. You make it so much easier. Why? What were they doing that made it look hard? Was it how they were like finishing it, or? Uh, yeah, I can see that. It could be just you have to justify the cost of it, so you have to make it look like it's harder than it is. I don't know. But I'm also looking at it from a production side, point of view. Well, that tends to happen. If you're making it for the pleasure of making it, you can see that. Hey, Bam, how's it going? Welcome in. So if you guys are new to the stream, we are making Turkish-style drop spindles. So right now we're doing spindle turning. We're spindle turning spindles. So if I was to make a baseball bat, that would be spindle turning as well. Pens. Magic wands, that's all spindle turning. I just caught my employee going through my wallet. I see that. I'm just kidding. Are you out of here? Alright. I love you, honey. Oh, there you go. So I'm making Turkish. Top rows are a little different. I'll walk home, yeah. I'll probably just do ramen for lunch, so. Okay. Hey, Paul, how's it going? So we got the arms that we cut out yesterday. So next up is sanding, shaping, and balancing. So this is hard maple. Hey, Stefan, how's it going? Welcome in. So I don't have super high hopes as far as production goes today. What are we coming on? Story of my life. Eileen? Well, welcome in regardless. How's Toonlin doing today? I understand it's being translated, so we can just say hi. How is it being translated? I have no idea. I think it's YouTube magic. Hey. It could be used as a small travel wand. So we can try Leviosaing some stuff later. Actually, when I used to live stream, when I used to have the big setup, I used to use a camcorder that had special effects built into it. So if you touch the touch screen on the monitor, it would make like little magic stars come out. So I did quite a bit of bippity boppeting booping with that back in the day. Leviosa, yeah, maybe not. Hey Jay, welcome in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the lathe, but while it's still spinning, I'm going to back out the tailstock so I can see what the shaft is doing. If it's vibrating all over the place, then it's not going to be any good. So we have a 4-jaw chuck down here, so we're chucked in, so we're holding it. So hit the stop button, pull it back. Hair vibration, well, we'll probably go with a 7 rather than an 8. And we'll keep going. Hello, welcome in. Thank you guys so much for the thumbs up. Much appreciated. If you guys want to help the stream out, if you want to double click on the screen, that'll help get some more people in here. But I'm not too much of a beggar for that. Hey, I appreciate it. Here we go. There's a 7-inch. So that goes with these. So the length of the shaft is determined by the size of the whorl. So the bigger the spindle, the bigger the whorl, the longer the shaft. Woo! I do not have high hopes for this one. You see how... Look at that. See if we can get it a little bit closer. Yeah, we got a knot right here. Which is going to be a major weak point. Let's look. See, that goes past the center line. So if we made it thinner, it would easily snap there. So we'll chuck it up the other way and see if we can get a 7-inch out of it. So the worst case scenario is I'll burn these. in my fireplace at home this winter. So the wood chips I make fire starters out of, and I'm making briquettes out of them as well. Plus, I'll also use it for mulch. So. So basically, I'm compressing bricks of sawdust and paper to burn in my fireplace. So today I moved out. I'm kind of experimenting with it. So they're all outside right now, baking in the sun. Well, more air drying. They're kind of stacked on top of each other. I have 2x4s in between, so it's kind of like stickered, like what you do with lumber for it to dry. Let's get some coffee. The coffee's getting a little warm and a little cold. So my camera is mounted to the wall, and it comes down. That way I don't get any vibration off the floor. If I would have just had it on a stand like on the bench, it would vibrate quite a bit. Woo! That one is not good. So I actually use these with my buffing wheels. So when I make pens, I'll put them on here to buff them. So even though this is not going to work for a spindle, I still have a use for it. And then I'll make a shorter shaft out of this little piece that's left over. If I turn the speed down, we can get really long. More tendrils out of that. So there's a lot of supporting with my hands on these because they're just so thin. So this is a wood lathe, not a metal lathe. It's belt driven, not gear driven. So. Hello, welcome in. Hey Saber, how's it going? It's another day in paradise here. But, you know, as long as we got coffee, we're good. Nice. A little wow on a Saturday. Oh, that's cool. I personally suck at video games. Although I do appreciate playing Rust just to be a grub. It's a lot easier when your goal is not to succeed. Hey, Gracie, how's it going? Hello. How's Abdel doing today? Go. So I'm now officially caught up on what I have cut out, but I have no 8-inch shafts or 7-inch shafts. I don't have any spares made up, so we're going to keep going. Hello, welcome in. So if you're new to the stream, my name's Scott. Right? I like to make stuff. We're turning hard maple. I like hard maple because the pores are really small. Like hickory would be a great shaft material, but the pores are so big, it would look like oak where there'd be a whole bunch of lines in it. Hello, Zachary. Welcome in. So after this one, we're going to quickly just put an edge on the gouges. It'll probably take longer to move the camera than it does to touch them up. There we go. Thank you so much. All right, we'll come up here. Just going to put a little bit of marker right on the cutting edge. Toe pick. That way we'll make sure that we actually have the angle right and we're actually sharpening on the top there. So we're using a low speed grinder and we're using CBN wheels. That wasn't too bad. So yeah, these are Robert Sorby's. They're out of Sheffield, England. They've got good steel. They hold an edge for a pretty long time. Okay. Come back just a little more. Why not use carbide? Well, with carbide, everything is a scraper. So you're scraping the surface, you're not necessarily shear cutting. I just feel I get more control out of gouges and skews. I mean, carbide has its place. What's the everyday purpose of these? Are for spinning yarn. So this is what came before the spinning wheel. I'm not anti-carbine. Got a little one right there. You know, as far as the carbide stuff goes, I tend to use that when I'm like turning acrylic. So if I'm making pens, I'll use carbide. Or if I'm bowl turning, I'll use carbide. Kind of all depending on what I'm doing. You know, carbide's great. You don't have to sharpen it. So with carbide, this is a carbide tip. So when it gets dull, you turn it and turn it and turn it. They're numbered, so you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever. And then when it's dull, you can sharpen them. Most people just replace them. So you don't need a sharpening system then. It's just stick and go back and forth. It's much easier to learn how to use. I could take the carbide and just but this is what you make. You get these little pieces here. With this, you're actually peeling stuff off. Yeah. Yeah, when I started churning, carbide wasn't really a thing as far as woodworking goes. another 7-inch. So when I'm bowl turning, I'll use, you know, a much longer one. So you get more leverage on it. Hey FJ, how's it going? Or more stability, I guess, rather than leverage. Gives you more to hold on to. Knitting, crocheting, macrame, weaving. Give Cat something to do. Picking eggshells off? That's a good one. Man, now I want to make some. Ooh! Hold the phone. Oh, man. I thought we had hard-boiled eggs here, but then I remember Vicky made egg salad yesterday, so she didn't save me one. Oh well. Oh yeah, I've made hats and scarves and blankets. Blankets take a lot of yarn. Yeah, so my girlfriend Vicky, she tends to give her yarn away. So she'll, spin up a skein and then do some sort of giveaway. So Vicky will enter her yarn in competitions. It's been a while since I've done that. I don't want to compete against my customers. But yeah, a couple years ago she took best of show. And that was at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. So that's a pretty big festival. Do I have any of my own animals that produce the wool? I do not. My grandfather was a farmer, a dairy farmer. My parents had a hobby farm, so I have had pet sheep. We had goats and pigs, pheasants, chickens, ducks, rabbits, guinea hens, geese. Yeah. Um, well, you can buy it and process it, or you can just buy it already ready to spin. So you don't have to start at step 1 to get to step 10. That's what I like about the fiber arts thing. You could own your sheep. You could buy a fleece if you wanted to. You could buy, it already processed, and you could card it yourself, or you could have it sent to a mill, and they can card it and make it into, roving. So it's a deep rabbit hole, but you can go as deep as you want to. I, for one, am not a big fan of processing, so I can, but I choose not to. I'd rather support a local mill or a mill in general. How do they judge yarn? Well, they have judges that look at it, and there's a sheet with a whole bunch of different questions on, and everything is given a value, and then you add up the values. So, why? Because it's like anything else. People like being judged on what they do. So there's a whole bunch of different categories depending on your skill level, how many years you've been spinning, whether you've made it with a spindle or a wheel. Some shows have a specific breed. So let's say you make it out of Corriedale. They might have a Corriedale breed. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. So yeah, at Wisconsin there is an entry fee, and then if you place in the top 3, you get a little bit of money. It's not a ton, but you can only enter once per category. But yeah, it's like, I don't remember how much it is. It's like $10 or $15 for first place. So at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool, we sponsor the design competition as far as designing like a sweater or something like that. Even though we're a spindle company, since Vicky donates yarn, we're not going to sponsor something that, so we do the design competition. So it's fun. Do you have a favorite type of wool? Not really. It depends on what you're looking for as the outcome. What you're going to use it for. I spin a lot of blends, so I'll do merino that's blended with silk or what have you. But I spin a lot of blackface meat sheep, a lot of Corriedale and Romney. What's my favorite tool? Ugh. That's a hard one. As far as woodworking goes, I spend the majority of my life either on the lathe or on the scroll saw, just with the type of work that I do. Hey, Devil, how's it going? So we are making Turkish-style drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. Hey, Slick, how's it going? So we're currently turning shafts for Turkish-style drop spindles. So that's what it's going to look like when it's completed. I'll go grab one that I've been spinning on. I don't know what the range is on my microphone. It's been a long time since I've been using it. There we go. Do you have a favorite type of wool? Yeah, I like a bunch of different stuff. I like merino, Cordell, Romney. I like alpaca. I like spinning cotton as well. Hemp's okay. Not a huge fan of flax, but that's my personal thing. Yeah, you don't see a lot of that, do you? You know, it's just, you know, it's a niche thing. I mean, over the last couple of years, we've been getting flooded with commercially made ones coming out of like India and China. You know, you can buy a Turkish spindle on Temu right now. So they're not good. So it doesn't hurt me any. Yeah, I've never actually. I didn't purchase any of them from Temu. I've seen them on there. I've talked to people who bought them. They're like, yeah, not so good, Tim. Which is amazing that they would make a home improvement reference in 2026. Oh? There we go. You know, it's like anything else. They look, you know, it's a simple thing, but as simple as it is, there's a lot of factors involved with them. You know, I have the same issue with, I go to a lot of festivals, and there'll be new spindle makers there. We have gorgeous spindles that aren't balanced. So that would be like, you know, buying a Fiero because, oh, look, it's mid-engine, and it's clearly a sports car. and then, making it look like a Ferrari. It'll never be a Ferrari. But yeah, pretty sells, but you need to make a decent tool. So I've been making these full time since 2013. So. This is now it's officially my longest job I've ever had. Yeah, pretty much. So when I started making these, I noticed that there wasn't a lot in kind of the middle price range. You could get something really cheap. You can go to the hobby store and buy a toy wheel and slap it on a dowel and put a hook on the top, and it's a functional drop spindle. But it's not the best drop spindle. So there's cheap ones and super expensive ones. Nothing really in the middle. And that's kind of where I want it to be. There's a lot of makers out there who, make an $80 to $100 spindle. And the ones who know what they're doing, they're gorgeous. But they're also pricing people out of being able to do it. So occasionally I'll make expensive ones, but I think my bread and butter is usually, in the $25 to like $45 kind of range. Oh yeah. And if it's not right, you sure know it. Hey T, welcome in. Drop spindles are used for spinning yarn. So this is what came before the spinning wheel. So we have been using spindles since at least Neolithic times. Yeah, you don't want to get a splinter in your mouth off a chopstick, that's for sure. Yeah, the old-timey spinning wheels have only been around for like 800 years, which seems like a long time until you go further back, I guess. I mean, you'll see people spinning in Egyptian tombs. Yeah, but with toothpicks, you're using primarily birch that's not going to splinter. That's why they use like birch for popsicle sticks as well. Tongue depressors. Hello, H. Welcome in. Were you chewing on them? Yep. I guess we're not making any artisanal toothpicks today. If I was going to make a toothpick, I'd have to use the tailstock. So I'm using some wrenches as calipers. Yeah, like the flat ones, the flat toothpicks, they take the wood and they make it really, really thin, the thickness of the toothpick, and then they feed it through a machine that just chops them out. And I think then they're tumbled in a medium, like a vibratory tumbler, to round over the edges a little bit. This here is a Laguna Revo 1216. So this is their MIDI size lathe. So it's not a pen lathe, it's not a full size, it's an in-between. Yep. Hey Jay, welcome in. So this is my I'm sorry I can't make that lathe. So if you're a wood turner, eventually somebody's going to want you to make them a pool stick, a baseball bat, some spindles for like a banister for stairs. This is small enough where I can't do that. So I make very small things. So this is a good size for me. Yes, it has to be slightly oversized to fit over the fastener. So. So this is a 1/4-inch hole. So I can't use a 1/4-inch wrench, otherwise it wouldn't slide through. So I'm actually using a 6mm wrench, which gives me the clearance I need for the shaft to go through. But I've only got, 16 inches, so it's kind of pushing it. It'd be kind of short. I'm not touching that. No. So when I bought this lathe, I was working out of a 10-foot by 10-foot bedroom in my house. So I didn't have a lot of room to have a big lathe anyway. So this is, for me, this is like the greatest size. I do realize that. Yeah, I've never once seen anybody go into a bar with a bag and open it up and screw together a pool stick before. I'm only used to the The cheap ones that they have at the bar to get in fights with. Hey David, how's it going? You know, pool sticks, they actually make repair lathes. Strictly for pool sticks. They kind of have like a built-in steady rest on them. Yeah. It's kind of like bowling, you know. Bowling balls, there's so many specialized pieces of equipment just for the balls. That one's got too much vibration in, unfortunately, so we'll cut it off. And we'll keep going. Very nice. Thanks for the sub. Hey B, welcome in. Yep, so we are 8 weeks out from our next show. So in September we have Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. And then October we have Lambstown, which is in California. And then at the end of September we have SAF, which is in North Carolina. Yeah, there's sometime you just have to stop swiping, and yeah. yeah, shows are fun. So yeah, we're out of Wisconsin, so the California, we've never been out there before. It's going to be a test just to see how it goes. So we're just going to fly out, and we'll just have a table. So I could push a lot of product out of one, banquet table, 8 foot long table. My normal display is we do a 10 by 20. Across the pond. Or the big lake they call Gitchagumi. Yep, so California would be, if we drove, it'd probably be a 4-day drive one way, then the show, and then a 4-day drive back. So, you're losing almost 2 weeks right there. So, being able to fly out there, see if it's worth it, and then come back. Like when we go to like North Carolina, that's like a 13, 14, 15 hour drive, somewhere in that region. We did a festival in Texas for a couple of years, but yeah, really wasn't worth it as far as the drive goes. It was a good show. And we already have everything booked, so hopefully it'll be a painless experience. Now, you would think that the northern states would be the bread and butter, because we have 4 seasons up here. But we sell pretty evenly all over the place, so I have a hunch like when we sell to like Florida and way in the deep south, a lot of them are former northerners. I could be wrong. You just wouldn't be spinning heavy wool stuff. Lake Michigan. Oh, I gotcha. Now, if there's only a fancy bridge that you could cross. I've always enjoyed. There's a fiber show in Michigan, in Allegan, Michigan, which is a pretty good show. Home of the Big Chicken, which is like south of Kalamazoo. Yeah, there's two ferries. There's a faster one and a slower one. I actually went to college in Upper Michigan. Oh, that is going to leave a mark. Just had this big tub full. Marquette, actually, Hancock. It's okay. It's not like it was full of dowels or anything. So I went to a private college. It was when I went, it was Suomi, and then it changed to Finlandia University. It's a Finnish college, and it just closed down last year. So it's like right across the river from Michigan Tech. Yeah, there was a lot of Finnish people that moved to Upper Michigan during the copper rush because they came from like lead mines, and the weather wasn't all that dissimilar from Finland. So, oh yeah. So there's a big Finnish population up there. Yep, so the copper in Upper Michigan was pretty pure. The only contamination they had really was silver. So as the story goes, the silver paid for the transportation fees to transport the copper to wherever it needs to go. So the copper is 100% profit. So the silver is enough to pay everything else. And those are like mainly underground mines. Up by my college, you have a mine tour where they take you to the Quincy mine that was abandoned. It's all not as pretty as it used to be, but they take you in the air shaft and show you equipment and stuff. Welcome in. I usually stream a couple times a week. I really don't have a set schedule. Actually, my stream is just about over. I usually try to get 2 hours in. We're just about there. And I am starting to get hungry, so I think I'm going to make some lunch. We'll finish this one up and we'll call it a stream. So I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You guys keep me focused and keep me working, which is much appreciated as well. Woohoo! 100. I will take it. It'll keep me from, keep me away from streaming on OnlyFans. Because nobody wants to see that. Ooh, we made 121 minutes. Perfect. All right, guys. Have a good day, and we'll catch you next time. And remember,